The frustration that Jimmy displayed. Cornpop. I'm not going to read the rest of it. Without me, that's
Behold, pale horse. I'd pay $5 to see Jimmy Dore body slam a disagreeable guest. Just saying. LOL.
What the fuck?
So today, this guy, Andre X, he said, today I was beaten, kidnapped, blindfolded, and taken to a military base by the Israeli occupation forces. That's how Israel deals with journalists. Not Trump. That's Israel. Today I was remember everybody said, oh, Trump should being mean to Jim Acosta. He's an enemy of journalists. No, the U.S. government is, and Israel. Today I was beaten, kidnapped, blindfolded, and taken to a military base by the Israeli occupation forces, together with 4 other journalists. 2 of us were held for 11 hours without charges. My phone was confiscated, and 1 of us is still in custody. So that one that's still in custody is a guy from the gray zone, Jeremy Lafredo. So he's still in custody. And
hey, they can do that. And the reason is, remember Epstein getting blackmail material? Why do you think we can't tell Netanyahu nothing? And the James Bond of Israel, Epstein, who was blackmailing all of our politicians, we'll never get to know who they were. We'll get the Diddy list, some of it. We won't get that.
Right.
That's why Israel can do that, because our despicable leaders are being blackmailed by Israel. What do you think? What do you think it is?
So Wyatt Reed says it's been over 24 hours since the Gray Zone's Jeremy Lafredo was among 4 journalists beaten, blindfolded, and taken to an Israeli military base. The other 3 were released. Jeremy remains in Israel custody. His phone has been seized. More to come. Plus, you can't retweet any of his tweets on Twitter. Isn't that weird? Dan Cohen says the Israeli military dictatorship has kidnapped and beaten American journalist Jeremy Lafredo, apparently as punishment for his on-the-ground reporting. So,
wow. Nicer than what we did to Assange, I'll give him that.
Our friend Afshin Ratanzi says Gray Zone journalist kidnapped by the IDF. He remains in custody. The Gray Zone's Jeremy Lafredo, along with 3 other journalists, were beaten, kidnapped, blindfolded, and dragged into an Israeli military base. While the others have been released, Lafredo still being in Israeli custody and his phone is seized. Another crackdown against journalists by Israel, while Antony Blinken's State Department remains silent.
I'll bet it's a favor to Anthony Blinken. I'll bet you it's a favor to him, them doing that.
So here is Jeremy says, I think this was the report that got him. So he wasn't supposed to report this. In fact, it was made illegal in Israel for you to report where the bombs that Iran and was sending, where they landed. You weren't supposed to be allowed. It was illegal to report where they landed. He reported it. He said, while on the ground in Israel, I was able to track down the impact sites of Iranian missiles on key Israeli military and intelligence installations, including Nevatim Air Base and the Mossad headquarters.
Hey, couldn't happen to a nicer air base and headquarters.
Despite Israeli military censor's official ban on publishing the locations. So he did it. And I bet, so I'm going to show you the parts I can show you. He puts a lot of war footage in it. He shows you the missiles. I can't show you that because they demonetize that on YouTube. So I'm just going to show you the parts of his report I can show you.
As night fell, I headed to the heart of...
So here he is. He was at a military base. He showed where some bombs fell. Now he's going to go to Tel Aviv. Watch this.
As night fell, I headed to the heart of Israel's military and intelligence operations, Tel Aviv. This city is home to the nucleus of the state's defense apparatus, and by Israel's own logic, the civilians here could be considered human shields. At the center of this high-density urban area...
So
they are.
So they could be considered... So Israel would say, if that was Palestine, they would call them human shields because they have military installations and headquarters for their intelligence operations embedded inside Tel Aviv.
Israel
so now that would
beings.
be considered a legitimate target.
Yeah. Well, we know that they have no problem getting their own citizens murdered and paying for it to happen so that they can do what they're doing now.
So let's watch this. So he's not supposed to do this. So what he's showing you now, you're not supposed to. Israel is made illegal in Israel. Okay.
Lies the headquarters of Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, where covert operations, assassinations, espionage, and blackmail plots are devised against state enemies. It's not just that schools or hospitals are nearby. Mossad's headquarters is strategically nestled among them, with apartment complexes, tourist hubs, and public facilities all around.
So the Mossad headquarters, which is like the equivalent of the CIA, is embedded right in the middle of apartments and cafes and schools. So here's a little bit more. So he's going to go show you where one of those bombs fell. Watch this.
Driving down a street I believe to be in one of the missile videos, I saw a heavily damaged SUV. Its windshield shattered, debris and concrete caked into the vehicle. Further down, the scene unfolded. Destroyed vehicles, torn up asphalt, and a massive crater, roughly 30 feet wide, recently filled in with dirt.
So this is illegal to show in Israel, and he did it. He's showing it.
What? It's the only democracy in that area.
So what? So look.
Democracy.
So wait. What? So what? Watch this. So turn it up.
That's the Mossad headquarters.
So there's where the bomb hit. That's the Mossad headquarters. That's
Womp, womp.
That's how close they were.
Hey, you know who Jeffrey Epstein didn't work for sure? Hezbollah, Iran. He worked for these motherfuckers.
So there's
the missile had hit less than 1,000 feet from Mossad headquarters.
Less than 1,000 feet from the Mossad headquarters.
So that's a message to Mossad: we can get you. And them being really restrained and courteous not to hit civilians, which is an embarrassment to Israel, much like the hostages that they don't want rescued. And that's why they're suppressing it.
Okay, here's one more video.
The censored coordinates. Given the proximity to what is considered one of the world's most advanced intelligence agencies, it seemed clear that Israel was taking extra precautions to conceal the exact impact location. As we left the area, an unsettling incident occurred. Our cell phones lost GPS functionality. Maps went blank. And then both devices, mine and my taxi driver's, suddenly showed we were at Amman's airport in Jordan, over 120 miles west. For the Gray Zone, in Israel, Jeremy Lafredo.
Hey, didn't something happen to your phone, Jimmy?
Yes, they got my phone. They got my phone, and they used
our greatest friend in the Middle East. Oh, we couldn't live without him. They're the best. And of course, no Jew is safe without Israel. That's why they're so good about getting their hostages back. You know, people say that shit. I believe no Jew is safe if there's no Israel. You feel safe with Israel?
Right.
Because you seem to not be.
Because Israel...
I never hear Jews go, oh, I feel so safe. You ever hear them say that? I don't.
They say that in London. They say that in New York. They say that in Hollywood.
No, that we have to clear the schools out of all the anti-Israel protesters. They don't feel safe in school because people are going to point out that the missiles hit the Mossad headquarters. So no, everyone I know has been in a state of 1948 level hatred paranoia for this entire time, and that's thanks to Israel. It's like an addict. Hey, I don't think the meth is actually helping you. And they're like, no, it helps me think. It makes me sharp. No, it makes you a maniac, actually.
I've seen lots of protests by Jews in London saying, I feel safe. I've always felt safe. All the Jews I know in New York say, I feel safe. All the Jews I know in Florida, I feel safe. So this idea that they don't feel safe is propaganda by Zion. It's Zionist propaganda.
Yeah, right.
And if you're
those
a Jew,
Jews are in trouble now for saying that by Zionists, just so you know. The ones that feel safe, they're going to be attacked by Zionists.
That's right. That's right. So Zionists want Jews to feel unsafe.
Hey, here's a fun fact.
Zionism in Israel is a cancer on the West. Is a cancer, and it's metastasizing, and it's going to end up in World War III, and it's bankrupting our country, and it's going to create a world war we can't win.
It's just like the white, like a head on the tumor that is America, which, again, I don't want anybody to think I'm extra picking on Israel because they'll go, that's hypocritical. I'm not a hypocrite. How do you think we got this great nation? By wiping it out like Gaza. That's how we got it. So that's why they think they can do it. Because America,
That's right.
Well, we're not the great Satan anymore. Now we're the fat gender block Satan. But
I had someone say to me at the live show, Kurt, you weren't there. Someone said, I'd rather live in Tel Aviv than Gaza. I go, I'd rather live in LA than an Indian reservation. What does that prove? That we both wiped out the indigenous population and made it nice for ourselves?
Hey, Gaza would rather not live in Gaza. They have to because they were fenced in.
That's right. I know.
I love, my favorite is when I watched the one, LGBT, because by the way, Queers for Palestine, I'm sure it's a group to take people away from caring about Palestine. I'm sure it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then the own of, you think the Bill Maher level intellect own of, you think they like gay people in Palestine? Yo, I'll tell you firsthand, I know they're not that cool in Israel. Paul Stanley from KISS has to be in the closet to this day because they're not cool with that. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Do you
Sasha
think...
almost got beat to death, Sacha Baron Cohen, for prancing around in a gay outfit in the neighborhood in Israel. Only time he ever broke character. The Arabs, none of them made a move on him. All the Jews tried to kill him, and he go, no, please, I'm Sacha Baron Cohen. That's a fact.
And so it never dawns on people like Bill Maher that the IDF or the Israeli army is also slaughtering gay people in Gaza.
Yeah, well, I think the Haktua girl brought it up to him, and he had to think about it.
All right, over to Steph.
Okay. All right, here we go. You're going to do what?
I have one more story.
One more story and then Misha?
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, don't worry. Harris will have 8 years, exactly what the MIC wants. Manimus. Thank you, Manimus. That's painful. All right, SS. Thank you, SS. Tiller, listening to Kamala word salad. Harris 2024 is worse than nails on a chalkboard. My Min Drunner, skit idea, the Kamala doll. Pull the string and it says jumbled word salad of phrases. Have Steph do the voice and Misha present the doll. Min Drunner, thank you. Louise, hi, just going to say hi. Your puppy is adorable and hope all is well. All is well. Thank you for that one, Louise. Wink, wink. Well, technically, it is climate change. It's the oligarchs changing the climate to destroy people's lives. It's not so much man-made climate change. It's oligarchs made climate change. Vienticus Prime. All right, where is it? Don't go away. Ha, shouted out my name, Jimmy. Smug. You shouted out my Jimmy is smug and arrogant, but it's not a mean comment. I just turned 39, getting old, and he reminds me of me. Just gave love. Hobo Jesus, thanks for your latest segment regarding the Electoral College. Really made me rethink my position. My only worry is that Trump won't be elected. Lucas, thanks for your latest segment regarding the Electoral College. Really made me think. Lucas, again, what's up? It went twice, Lucas. Google Operation Popeye. Whether weapons go back to Vietnam, where they used to use alter monsoons to cause landslides. John Franks. Wanted to thank Kurt for amazing knowledge. What's his name? Jimmy, I think it's disgusting that you keep making fun of Kamala. People with mental disabilities should not be made fun of. Shame on you, Christian.
Okay.
All right. John Francis, thank
the president,
you. Back
they
to
should
Jimmy.
be.
Okay, so I'm going to show you our new favorite video. Should I show it full screen or over my shoulder?
So you just intro it and then full screen.
Okay, so here's Misha. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Let's watch.
Hello and welcome to a reading of True or False, the science of perception, misinformation, and disinformation. Let us begin.
Wait, Jimmy, can I see it?
Many things that go viral are fun or...
Hold on, you can't see it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Oh.
I'll just watch it on the live stream then.
Yes.
Yeah, watch the live stream.
All right, we'll see you later.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye, Betty. You're going to start it again.
Hello and welcome to a reading of True or False, the science of perception, misinformation, and disinformation. Let us begin. Many things that go viral are fun or just silly, but sometimes viral rumors lead to conspiracy theories. Take an example from 2016. Former First Lady Hillary Clinton was running for president. A casual comment made by people who did not think she should be president started a false rumor online, and it was mean. Her political enemies spread the story and made up details. At the same time, other countries were trying to disrupt the American election. Those countries spread even more extreme lies about Mrs. Clinton. Eventually, all this disinformation led to a bizarre conspiracy theory about her. The untrue rumor said Mrs. Clinton was kidnapping children and holding them in the basement of a pizza shop in Washington, D.C. The false story also said she planned to sell the children into slavery. This was a very mean false rumor. Almost as mean as when the Clinton campaign hired CrowdStrike to investigate their hacked servers. CrowdStrike then lied and said the DNC servers had been hacked by Russia, and of course the FBI relied on CrowdStrike's investigation rather than conducting their own. It wasn't revealed until 4 years later that CrowdStrike had no evidence of a Russian hacking. But by then, Russiagate was in full swing and images of Trump and golden showers pervaded our minds. Well, that concludes today's reading. Join us next week as we delve deeper into conspiracy theories. But don't worry, we will not be discussing the fact that the DNC made a payment to CrowdStrike just one day after Seth Rich's murder, because we all know the truth. Seth Rich, who gave information to WikiLeaks exposing corruption in the Democratic Party, was murdered in a botched robbery in which the robber forgot to rob him. Who was that robber anyway? My Nana? She can be so forgetful. Nana, don't forget your keys. She has a rich social life. I could really go for some pizza.
That's great. Fantastic. Oh, if you like this show, you'll love that sketch. Well done.
Yeah, right?
Fantastic. Nice job. Hilarious. Okay, Steph.
All right. Thank you,
Are
Misha.
we doing locals?
Yeah, we're going to do locals. So this will take me about 10 minutes. Does Jimmy need to do any reads?
I got.
All right. So stand by. All right. That was great, Misha. Thank you. She's so talented.
Oh, okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm ready.
Back to Jimmy.
Hey, so mainstream media is unreliable and dishonest, and that's why you watch the show, right? How can you trust them when they're never told the truth about anything like Russiagate or Julian Assange, Ukraine, Syria, COVID? That's where our sponsor, Ground News, comes in. Ground News is an app and a website that gathers related articles from around the world in one place so you can compare the coverage, kind of like how we do it on this show. Let's look closer at the coverage of President Trump's attempted assassination, for instance. Ground News gives me instant access to more than 700 articles reporting on it all over the world with context on each publication's political bias. Factuality based on how subjective or objective their language is, and even who's funding those people. Comparing the coverage is absolutely fascinating to me. Corporate-leaning USA Today and ABC News downplayed the shooting by writing that Trump was moved from stage after loud noises startled him and rang out in the crowd. The Irish Times went as far as to victim blaming, adding that the assassination attempt might even help him win the White House. Right-leaning outlets like the Daily Signal and New York Post were quick to call out liberal media's biased coverage, reporting that their bias was on full display. Unfortunately, moments like these can fuel the fires of misinformation, and very inaccurate narratives can spread like wildfire. The only way to combat this is to stay informed through really diverse news sources, something Ground News simply excels at. I mean, they even created a blind spot feed to expose what the other side of the political spectrum isn't reporting on, freeing readers of any hidden agendas and political spins. With media bias just running crazy like it is, I can't recommend subscribing to Ground News enough to stay fully informed on topics with explosive headlines. Just go to ground.news/JD. That's ground.news/JD with my link in the description, and they're going to give you 40% off their Advantage subscription, which will give you unlimited access to all their analysis and features. Ground News.
Why did we move from California to Alaska? For starters, they shut down my dad's miniature tractor business because it wasn't EPA compliant or electric. Secondly, you have to smog every vehicle built after 1975. In California, this truck was $1,200 a year to register. Here it's $100 for lifetime tags. You couldn't take an ATV anywhere because every trail was closed off due to public safety. This sawmill, they wanted 1 million board feet worth of taxes for operating. And you can't use any of the lumber for anything structural. And finally, to build our cabin, it would have required 50 times more than we have in the materials of the cabin to get the permits to build it. Why did we move from California to Alaska?
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running this system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just move babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.